North Arrow Minerals, and your timing for this session is great. They've just recently come out with some pretty impressive results from a bulk sample in Nunavut, and they've also got a brand new discovery district in Saskatchewan. Ken, over to you.
Great. Well, thanks very much, everyone. And thanks for the segue, Matt, and also congratulations for the award last night. It's very well deserved for Stornoway to raise that amount of money to build a mine, the next diamond mine in Canada. I think it's quite commendable, and I would definitely agree with his comments on just how difficult this business is. So North Arrow is an exploration company. One way to tell that is our disclaimer is not quite as long. We became a diamond explorer about 2 years ago. We actually came to this conference and we reorganized the company to focus on what we saw as being some pretty compelling diamond opportunities in Canada. And we worked to basically pull together the three components that you need to have success, which is experienced people, good projects, and money. In terms of the people, we're essentially the ex-Aber Resources exploration team that was involved in the discovery of the dive kimberlites in the early 1990s. We also have involvement of a few of the principals in Bukhara. And the projects, we'll see there's a series of them, but they range from projects we were able to stake 2 years ago, and there wasn't much happening in the diamond space at all. It was quite dead. Projects were coming open. Projects that still had very good technical merit were available through option and direct staking, and we took advantage of that, and then we were able to raise some money as well. And we've raised $13.4 million over the last 2 years, and for that, our shareholders have been exposed to 2 completed drill programs that included the discovery of Canada's newest diamond district in Saskatchewan at our PDAC project. They've had exposure to 5 different till sampling programs, which we all know are not cheap endeavors, particularly in northern Canada. Our shareholders are getting exposure to a 3rd drill program, which is the follow-up drilling at PDAC, which is underway right now, and we'll be drilling there through the end of March. And I think most importantly, they'll have had exposure to the collection of a 1,500-ton bulk sample from our Killalugak project in Nunavut, which is more advanced and is leading towards a story that we think could be quite compelling and could become our next development project in this country. So after these financings that we've done, we currently sit at about 50 million shares outstanding. We've been able to do them straight share financings, no warrants. We don't have a warrant overhang, keeping the share structure quite attractive. Our major shareholders include the Dundee Family Trust, which owns just under 20%. Management and other insiders own just under 20% as well. Our one institutional shareholder of note is JP Morgan out of London, and a series of their funds, they have about 5% of the company. I'm not going to go through the CVs of everyone involved. North Arrow has a booth. 2707 would be happy to take you through the background of everybody involved, but that's not what we're here to listen to. Our projects, we have 7 of them, and they range from sort of pre-discovery, early stage till anomalies, all the way to our most advanced project, which is Killalugak, right up here in Nunavut. Some of these, as I mentioned, we were able to stake. Others we acquired through option, primarily there's 3 significant options we were able to do with Stornoway. They obviously know what they're doing. They're building a mine in Quebec, and we have to get to take advantage of Matt's expertise and his technical team. And I'll be able to point out some of the success that they've had in developing the targets that we've been able to take advantage of. Now, Killalugak is it's an interesting story. We're earning an interest, as Matt said. We can earn an 80% interest by collecting the bulk sample, which has been done, processing it, and getting the ultimate diamond parcel valued. We're a couple of months away from getting that done. Once we make that valuation public, we'll give Stornoway notice, and we're going to earn our 80% interest in the project. Stornoway will then have a one-time back-in right. They'll have 60 days to decide whether to buy back 20%, so increase their interest from 20 to 40, drop ours from 80 to 60, and to do that they would need to pay us 3 times what we spend collecting that sample, and we're on budget right now to do that for about $3.7 million. So that's sort of the deal side of things. Stornoway acquired the project from BHP, and BHP and Stornoway, through their work, they discovered about 15 kimberlites in this area. The principal kimberlite is called Q1-4. It's the largest of the bodies discovered at about 12 hectares. It also happens to be the highest grade body discovered, and really importantly, it's the closest to tidewater in the community of Repulse Bay. It's only about 8 kilometers from the community, and we think that's huge when considering and projecting forward about potential development scenarios. The cost savings of being on tidewater in the Canadian Arctic are quite substantial. There is a resource at an inferred level for the kimberlite. It was first determined and stated by Stornoway. We restated it after acquiring the option in May of 2013. In essence, the body is sort of a horseshoe-shaped body with about 48 million tons of kimberlite down to a 200-meter depth at a total recovery +1 DTC grade of about half carat per ton, or 50 CPHT. There is plenty of potential to expand this. As I mentioned, it's about 12 hectares in size at surface. When we're down at 200 meters depth, it's still about 7.5 hectares in plan view. It's big. The grade is pretty good, but of course, as we know, when it comes to kimberlites, they are different because that third component we need to figure out is value. We could have gone back and come up with a plan to spend $10 or $15 million drilling this off, increasing our confidence in the grade, increasing our confidence in the tonnage, and none of that would have answered the critical question, which is whether these diamonds are worth anything or not. And Stornoway had identified that, and that's where North Arrow came in. We came to our business terms, and we've collected a bulk sample last summer from this area of the kimberlite where it's on land. Now this is where I might need a bit of help with a video. I'm not quite sure how to start it here, of the collection of the sample. We were able to do this because we were so close to town. No camp, no drilling, no blasting. We basically hired about 15 people from the local community, and our crew was up there. We slung out a little mini excavator, free digging kimberlite with a bucket and a frost pick. We were able to rip up the kimberlite. The total maximum depth of these pits was about 2 meters. And we were able to fill the bags, about 2,000 pounds a bag, 6 scoops of kimberlite, put a security seal on it, and then sling it to town. Over a 32-day period, we slung 1,688 of these mega bags from the pit to town, and relatively low tech. We basically, by screwing 3 2x4s together, we take 2 of those and we could make these cradles. Once the bag's full, it sits there. So we're able to pull those things out, put on, as I said, put on the security seal and send it off. So no big metal racks, no need for loaders, a very efficient way. I would just point out, we're standing on kimberlite. It's kimberlite all the way over to the stream right here. There's kimberlite all the way to the right, we can see. So this is all kimberlite here and all the way down this valley and then around onto the other side of that hill there. So it is a very large body. So it was about a 12-minute cycle time for the bags to get into town and then back out. And as I mentioned, it was 32 days to do that. And we then loaded the bags onto the annual sea lift that comes to town, shipped it to Montreal, and then from there it was sent to the DMS plant that we're using in Thunder Bay called Microlithics. Now going into this, of course, the whole point of this is not to determine grade, it's not to determine how big this thing is. The idea is to get some diamonds and get a valuation. We knew going into this from the parcel of diamonds that had been recovered by BHP and some of the work that Stornoway had done, that so far in that parcel, we didn't see very many diamonds in the grain or in the carat or sizes. You could say that they were underrepresented in the parcel that we had to that point. So first thing we wanted to find out is, do the diamonds extend into the grain or carat or sizes? The second thing we wanted to figure out is, we did identify, and Stornoway had identified, that there is a population of these guys. There are yellow diamonds within this parcel. And then the next question was, well, do they carry on into the larger sizes? Stornoway's diamantaire looked at them. Another external diamantaire looked at those diamonds and said, these are fully saturated yellow stones. And if they carry on into those bigger sizes, they could be true fancy yellow diamonds and command a premium price in the market. They could be a sweetener on the whole deal. So on Thursday, we announced some initial diamond recoveries from the sample, about the first 46% of it. This is a photograph of about 20% of what we announced. We didn't show the rest just because they weren't ready yet for a photograph, and these were the ones we were ready to roll together. The key takeaway from the news last Thursday was that, yes, the diamonds extend into the grain and carat sizes. Yes, the yellow diamonds are part of the parcel. In fact, the 3 largest stones all have yellow hues to them, and they range in size up to 4.4 carats. In this particular photo, this flat white stone here is about 1.5 carats, just for reference, and this cube is about 1.17 carats. The diamonds make up about, we also announced that the diamonds make up about 8.5% of the population by stone count. By carat weight, it was up over 20%, over 21% of the parcel are yellows. Even if we extract these 3 stones, which were included in that number, you're still at around 16 weight percent. So the yellows are part of the parcel. And then importantly, as we move into successively larger sieve classes, so as we incrementally go to larger and larger diamonds, we're seeing proportionately more and more of these yellow stones. So the question becomes, and I think we can say more than ever, the future of this project is going to hinge on the valuation of these yellow diamonds in the parcel. Now, what does that mean? I don't know what these things are worth. That's not my expertise. But what we can do is we can speculate to some extent of what the sensitivity of having a population like this could mean for the ultimate valuation. Regular commercial goods that are mined in Canada right now range in price from about $100 a carat up to $500 a carat. yellow diamonds that are fancies can generally command a premium that would be in the order, an order of magnitude higher. So all this slide is showing is we're saying, well, what if we have 5% of our production ended up being in yellow diamonds in a generic way, with the rest being regular commercial goods? And what if those stones commanded a price of about $1,000? This is the sort of price per carat you could end up with. And if we incrementally increase from 7.5% to 10 all the way to 15 weight percent yellows in the parcel, you start to see this sort of sensitivity to the proportion of the yellow fancies. Now, just to be clear, we're not saying that all of the yellows that we see are going to be yellow fancies or are yellow fancies. We don't know that yet. That's going to be the job of the evaluators when they take a look at this parcel. This is just to get an idea of what possibly could be. This is where you refer back to the forward-looking statement at the beginning of the presentation. This slide then is the exact same thing, but just looking at the sensitivity of price. If we were to increase that to about $2,000, these are the sorts of numbers that you get. So this is why it made sense to collect this sample and figure out, are these things worth anything? This is the reason we collected it. So far, all of the questions that we wanted to answer with the sample have come back with yes. The ultimate answer that we need to get now is going to be valuation, and we're only about 2 or 3 months away from getting that ultimate answer. So Kilalugak, in our view, and why we acquired this and acquired the option on it from Stornoway, is that it really ticks off all the boxes you want to see in an advanced or development type project. It sits in a jurisdiction where you can permit a mine. We're in Nunavut. Agnico Eagle has permitted 2 gold mines in the last 5 or 6 years just to the south of here. It's on tidewater. I talked about that earlier. There's a history of successful mine development in northern Canada and the Arctic for deposits where the deposit is actually right on the shore. And this clearly, Q1 to 4, clearly qualifies. There's the ocean. I don't know how well you can see it. You can see it really well at our booth, 2707. There's the annual sea lift in at Repulse Bay right there. This is the kimberlite. This is the area where we collected our bulk sample. We think the freight cost, the cost of getting things up to this site, could be on the order of 50 to 70% of what it costs to get materials to Lac de Gras. It's a big, big advantage. Lots of blue sky. It's a big kimberlite. We touched on that. It's going to be, we're going to be able to drill it deeper, and we'll increase the tonnage. There's lots of kimberlite there. There's another 14 bodies that need to be evaluated. Everything hinges on this thing right now and getting that valuation, and that's coming up. So looking forward, that's the key piece of information that we'll be looking for. Mid to late April should be the time frame for us having the bulk sample completed and knowing what our total recoveries are like, and then we'll be moving forward with evaluation, and that should take on the order of about another month or so after that. And once we get that, then basically we're going to know if there's a chance that that could be truly transformative for a company like North Arrow. And then, of course, there'll be a few business things to be dealt with in terms of the back end that Stornoway has and the election that they might make and financing moving forward. But regardless, the next stage of work at this thing would be more delineation drilling, getting a handle on how big this thing really is, drill a couple of glory holes and see if there's kimberlite 600 or 700 meters down, and really work then on the tonnage and increasing our confidence in the grade model. The other project I mentioned that we have underway right now is in Piku. Piku was another project we acquired from Stornoway. Stornoway's technical group had identified an area of Saskatchewan where no kimberlites had previously been discovered. They did the really hard work, the technical work, to come up with essentially what were 2 drill-ready targets, and we acquired an option to drill those targets, and we earned an 80% interest by discovering kimberlite there in 2013. Most importantly, the diamond results from that discovery were really quite spectacular. Won't go into all the details of it. We've been through it before, but in essence, we think these are some of the best microdiamond results from a new discovery in a new district ever reported anywhere in Canada. And because of that, we really looked at this as 2013 was a proof of concept scenario. We proved that if we drilled at the head of an indicator train, we had a very good chance of hitting kimberlite. We hit kimberlite in 9 out of 10 holes in 2013. And when we looked at the targets and the trains that we found, that we drilled in 2013, we hit PK 150 here, we hit kimberlite here, classic representation of till data, but we also recognized that Stornoway had, with far less sampling on the east side of the property, found samples that were indeed important in terms of returning kimberlite indicators. So last summer, the JV went back, we collected over 500 more till samples and came up with new, well-defined indicator trains that we're drilling right now. That drill program will carry on through the end of March, and we're going to be in the next week or so moving to drill at the head of these 2 trains here. So in closing, from an investment, I like Matt's answer very much on how hard this is. It is a really hard business to be in the diamond space and to try and have success. All the talks you're hearing today are by groups that have the technical expertise and have the ability to have success. It takes a long time for companies to get to the point where they're doing work that could be material in a way that would have one of those inflection points on a stock chart when we look back at the successes that other companies have had. And those inflection points happen at our end of the game, usually at discovery, or else when a discovery moves from being a discovery into the development stage. And right now, North Arrow has 2 kicks of that can underway, and we're going to have those answers in the next 2 to 3 months. Drilling at Piku could lead to a real discovery of a new diamond district in Canada, and for Killugac, if we get a positive valuation, that thing is development track, and it's a really well located project. So I'd be happy to chat to you all about it a bit more at our booth after this, 2707. Thanks very much.